Hey, this is Hudson over here at Comal Truck Gear. We're hanging out with our buddies from Pakmule today, talking a little bit more in detail about tire selections, options, and what's available. What we're going to start out with is we're going to start with a P-rated tire. You'll see when you go to look at tires and available options, there's two general options for passenger cars and trucks on the road. You'll see a P-rated tire, and P stands for passenger car, and you'll see an LT-rated tire. LT stands for light truck. What that means is basically from a 1-ton truck and smaller. Starting out with a P-rated tire. P-rated tires are going to be generally pretty lightweight. They're going on cars. They don't need a heavy load rating. On a passenger car, and you'll see a whole lot of tires such as this, really meant for highway driving, lots of directional grooves for water evacuation. They don't weigh very much at all because they're meant to go on a pretty lightweight vehicle. Moving on from that, you'll get to what are LT tires, light truck tires. Light truck tires are available in multiple different load ratings. It all depends on what you're driving, and how heavy the vehicle is. And what the truck's meant to do. You're going to need a different tire from a Toyota Tacoma to an F350, dually that's towing a gooseneck around. The most common load ratings you'll see available are C, D, and E. Those letters are going to pertain to the number of plies on the tire, and plies is the layers of rubber and other structural components on the tire. The C is generally the lowest load rating you're going to want to go on any sort of light truck. C tires are much lighter. You'll see them a lot of times on mid-sized trucks and SUVs. Moving on from there, you're going to go to a D loaded tire, which is you're going to see a lot of those on half-ton pickups and that sort of thing. Half-ton pickups and SUVs, and then you're going to see E-rated tires. Those are the three most common. You're going to see a lot of those on 3/4 and 1-ton trucks, dualies. There are obviously higher rated load tires than that, but they're really specific use cases, and they generally get pretty heavy. So moving on from the different load ratings of tires, we're going to talk a little bit about tire width and height in selection. A lot of your tire height selections honestly going to be dependent on the vehicle you're driving and how tall of a tire it can fit. Width is also a major factor when it comes to what fits on the vehicle. A lot of vehicles you can get away with a much taller tire if you move to a narrower tire. For example, I'm going to bring in a hybrid tire that we've got here. You'll see that the height of the tire isn't much shorter than our all-terrain here, but you'll see the width difference is significant. So on a vehicle where maybe a tire this wide won't clear, you could keep the same tire height and go to a narrower tire, less rolling resistance, and it also is going to fit in the wheel wells a little bit better. Speaking of rolling resistance, obviously the size of the tire and the contact patch on the road is all going to depend on the vehicle. So talking about the widths of the tires, obviously the width is going to determine the contact patch, how much rubber is touching the road. Your contact patch and how much rubber is on the road is going to determine your traction in loose surfaces. It's also going to determine the steering characteristics of the vehicle. Larger, wider tires tend to float more. Skinnier tires tend to cut through a little bit more. So if you have a soft surface such as mud or sand, the wide tire is going to provide a lot more flotation. If you're doing a lot of gravel road driving, a lot of improved dirt roads, gravel roads, limestone, caliche, that sort of thing, narrower tires are going to be better. A lot more steering input, a lot less flotation, and the vehicle is going to track a whole lot better. Moving on from there, I know we talked a little bit about the load ratings of the tires. The load ratings of the tires are also going to affect the weight of the tire, and I feel like this is a good place to transition to the weight of the tire because we've got two tires here that are very similar in size, overall diameter, but they're very different in weight. So this being a C-loaded rated tire, it looks larger. It is in fact lighter than the D-rated tire that is skinnier. So that comes into play with what type of vehicle you're driving, horsepower, torque, that sort of thing. Lighter weight tires are going to be a whole lot easier on vehicles with smaller engines, 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, that sort of thing. It's less rolling resistance. It's a lighter tire, less unsprung weight, so it's easier on the vehicle. When you move on to something like a 3/4 or 1-ton truck, the weight of the tire doesn't come into play so much because the vehicle's got the power and the torque to turn the tire. So those are just a few more differences in tires, a few more things to consider in your tire selection. It's really going to depend on the vehicle and your use case, but as you can see, there's a wide variety. There's something for everybody when it comes to tire choice. It may take you a few tries to figure out what works best for you and your vehicle, but there is something out there for it. Hey guys, thanks for joining us on the Pakmule channel and hanging out here in the shop at Comal Truck Gear. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you have any ideas for future videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.